Right, good morning, everyone. I'm just waiting for everybody to come into the webinar, and we will be with you in just a tick. I shall continue just having a quick slurp of my tea. Right. Well, good morning, everybody. First and foremost, I'm going to ask you all to do a favour. If you haven't got your full name on your screen, can I just ask you to go in and change it? So if you're on a laptop or desktop, you've got three dots up in the right-hand corner of your box. And if you drop it down, you have the option to rename. So we have somebody called iPhone, so I don't know who that is. So if Miss or Mr. iPhone could change that, that would be fantastic. So let's have a little bit of a move on. So anyway, good morning, everyone, and welcome to the first of a 12-part series that's being delivered by Laura Moxham, the MD of Your Business Angels, or YBA. So Laura's one of our newest affiliates, and a few months ago she and I met up and we discussed, you know, how she can get to know our members better, and me being keen to promote training and membership benefits. So we agreed that actually, you know, running some educational webinars would be a really good way forward. So here we are today. So anyway, a little bit more about Laura. So she runs the top 3% goods Google Ads agency, and she's got a wealth of knowledge and knows all about Google ads, and what she doesn't know probably isn't worth knowing, to be honest. So anyway, so Laura will share her wealth of knowledge with you and some of the insights with us to help your business. Her expertise has the potential to help and transform your business's digital journey. You know, it's not an easy subject, hence why we're here today. So without further ado, let's join Laura on this exciting voyage into the world of Google Ads, where she will unveil the keys to unlocking the immense potential for your business's success. So over to you, Laura. Thank you.
Thanks, Stephen. Nice warm welcome there. Good morning, everybody. So firstly, just a real quick bit of housekeeping. I've got Megan in my team here, and she's going to be managing the chat and keeping an eye on things. But perhaps just keep questions in the chat if you have any. And also, if you maybe put your email address, just in case we don't have time to answer all of them, I can then come back and email them back to you, so I can make sure that all your answers, all your questions are answered. Also, I'm in a very busy office at the moment, so if there is noise in the background and people being daft in the background, apologies, but we're trying to keep it as quiet as we can. So yeah, as Stephen said, today is the first of the 12-part series, once a month for the next 12 months, to help to give you as much knowledge and insight as I can, from a beginner, if you've never done it before, to if you've been doing Google Ads for many years and you think you've got it absolutely nailed. I promise you I can find other ways to be able to improve your Google Ads, because it's like going to the gym. There's always ways that you can improve, you can get better outcomes. So my sole goal today really is to help you navigate a little bit about Google Ads. So this is more for the beginners. This is if you're just getting into Google Ads, just getting into your digital journey. What the webinars are not going to do is I'm not going to fix everything for you. This isn't a done for you. This is more about thinking about how it can be applied for your business, and things to look at, things to change, things to consider. Now, the other thing is I talk quite quickly. I'm a very energetic kind of person, so I'm going to fly through lots of things. But like I said, if you've got any questions, do put them into the chat and I will answer some questions at the end. But you guys, your time is really precious to you and your business. So we've got, say, 30 minutes on the call, and then I can come back to you. Of course, I'm always in the background to support you guys. So without further ado, right, so why Google Ads? Let's firstly look at this. You might even think, what on earth is Google Ads? Well, Google Ads, it's very much data driven. It's around numbers. So the first thing that I wanted to share with you is a couple of numbers around Google Ads. So 80%, what is that? Well, 80% is really the percentage of people that find you through the internet. Typically, your new customers will be coming through from the internet. So that's 80%. That's something that can't be sniffed at. You can't ignore it. 37,000. Now, I wonder what this number is. Now, this number is the number of people, roughly, Google's estimates, that are searching every month for removals. So it's a big number of people that are searching on Google looking for exactly what you do. So this is across the UK. This isn't, a specific location. So these numbers will differ, but there's a high number of people that are searching. Now, seasonality, this is something else just to consider, because people say, well, I don't really want to do Google Ads all throughout the year because it's quite seasonal. Well, actually, the data would show that whilst potentially the sales are seasonal, i.e. it might peak and trough, actually the number of people that are searching each month, apart from a slight dip in December, this is a graph from Google volumes, it comes down slightly in December, but actually it's fairly consistent throughout the year. So my point here is that there is a huge opportunity for you to be able to get in front of these people that are turning to Google to find a removals business. So it's a big opportunity there. But it's easy, right? Anyone can do Google Ads. You can find a YouTube video, you can find out how to do it. However, there comes the bad news. It's really quite competitive. There's lots of people wanting to grab this opportunity. So doing it well is the bit that makes the difference. Anyone can do Google Ads, but many come away saying, wow, Google Ads, yeah, it doesn't really work. The cost per lead is really high. I'm not getting the inquiries that I thought I may get. So it's about doing it really well. So today I'm going to be able to help you some way on that journey to potentially asking questions and understanding a little bit more about it. Also, Google is an ever-evolving, ever-changing organism, if you like. So it's always changing. There's always new things that are coming along as well. So actually doing it really well makes it a bit more challenging. So let me tell you a little story. So this is a company called Move My Stuff. They're based in Burton-on-Trent, and Joel is the MD there, along with his team and his growing team. And he was really struggling because, it's a crowded marketplace locally, and he was relying quite a lot on aggregators to provide him sales leads and inquiries. And what he was finding, it was really frustrating because he'd get the lead, but then so would another 5 other removals company in the area. So he'd be trying to win over that business. So he'd had a little foray with Google Ads and felt that it wasn't really working so well, and got in contact with us. And we looked at his account and identified various things that weren't quite right and holding him back. And a lot of these sort of things I will share with you a little bit later. But yeah, it was just really frustrating and costing him lots of money. So we then identified these problems. We discovered ways that it could be improved. And once we were able to do this, it was kind of like night and day. What he was able to do was kind of start to weigh down the aggregators and start getting people directly from Google to his phone, getting them to call him directly in his business. So now he's getting sort of 40 to 50 inquiries a month through, and it's allowing him to be able to focus on his business and focus on other areas of the business instead of focusing on, gosh, where are these inquiries going to come through from? So I wanted to share that sort of story with you so you can kind of see the benefit of how it can help your business. So just a couple of minutes, who are we? Why am I able to stand here and share information with you? So we, as Stephen identified, we are an affiliate partner with the bar, which is great. We love being a part of your wonderful association. I've been to some of the events, and the people within the association are great, really collaborative. So what we do is we will be here to help you, to support you, and guide you on your journey with Google Ads to make sure that you're able to get more sales leads out of it than you possibly currently are. So you may have seen my Friday videos that go out with a little tip, a little inspiration about digital marketing. So those are the Friday videos. Also, from time to time, we write in the magazine, and we've got our webinars here too. We are a top 3% of Google Ads partners, and basically that's based on the level of ad spend that we manage for our clients. So we have a vast amount of data on what works, what doesn't work, and that's what's able to put us into a premier partner position. But solely, it's about how can we help our business, our customers' businesses grow. And just to give you a slight example, there is we do call recording. So anyone that clicks on somebody's ad and goes to their website, what we're able to do is capture that phone call, and we use a little bit of AI, which allows us to analyze and listen to the phone call to find out what happened as an outcome. And I don't know anybody else that's doing that. So we're really at the cutting edge, but the whole point is to help to grow our clients' businesses. So that said, what are we going to do today? So first of all, I'm going to identify what is this Google Ads thing? What actually is it? How does it work? Make it basic so we can see what it's all about. Then we're going to go through the key stages of Google Ads. So what are the big levers that you should be looking for if you're doing Google Ads? I'm going to share with you how to create really effective ads, and then we'll go through some Q&A if you have any questions towards the end. So what is Google Ads? Well, it's not a pay-per-click. So Google Ads is a pay-per-click model. So what that means is, unlike any other form of advertising, you only pay when somebody clicks on your website. So what it means is people are presented ads at the top of Google, and this could be your ad. When somebody clicks on that ad, you as a business pay to Google a certain amount. Now, there's some science behind exactly what the payment would be. On average, it's £2.50 across all of the different things that Google Ads does. But that's kind of how it works. So what is it? So what I've done here in this screenshot is just shown you what comes up on Google, just to show you what these things are. So removals near me. I'm based in Harpenden in Hertfordshire, so these are the ads that I saw. So this first one here is called Google Guarantee. This is something new. It's different from Google Ads. But what you do is you can pay Google per lead. It links to your Google business profile, and you have to go through various hoops to be able to have this Google Guarantee. But this is only for certain types of service businesses, and removals fits under that category. So you can be in the Google Guarantee here at the top. That's not what I'm talking about today. What I'm talking about today is this part here, which is the Google Ads. So there's typically 4 ads. On this particular search, I only saw 2. So you've got Clockwork and you've got Ables. And so when somebody clicks on this ad, this is when you pay to Google that amount. You then have the Google Business Profile, which is the maps. I couldn't get the whole thing onto this screen, but you've got Google Business Profile. Now, what you need to do there is please ensure that your business has a Google Business Profile. It's free. You have to register to prove that you're a legitimate business with a legitimate address. And it links to things like reviews, and it allows you to be on the maps. I'm sure many of you have this, but if not, absolutely you must go away and do that. Then underneath that, you have the natural listings of your website. Now, those natural listings are made up from how relevant your website is to the term that somebody's just typed in. In my case, it was removals near me. So that's what Google Ads is, just this top bit here. But the whole purpose, the whole reason that we want to do Google Ads is we want to make the phone ring. That's all it's to do. And how we get through that journey is a little bit more complicated and can be kind of a make or break situation. But the whole goal is to get the phone to ring, to get people to buy from you, to get people to opt in, to have a quote. So that's the point. Quick show of hands, if I may, would you just be kind enough to just put a little 1 in the chat if you're paying for Google Ads on a regular basis, just so I can get a feel for how many people are currently investing in Google Ads. I'm sure that will kind of slowly pop up, so I'll let that percolate through, just to get a feel. Some people have never done it before, other people investing quite a lot, who knows? But just put a 1 in the chat, that would be really helpful. So I can see it's about 5 or 6 so far. So I'll keep an eye on that. Thank you, guys. Okay, a little lesson here, just to show the difference. You know, what is Google Ads and what's Facebook ads? Should I do both? Should I do one over the other? What's the difference? Well, the big difference is a word called intent. So if I'm going to Google looking for removals Harpenden, I've effectively got my credit card in my back pocket and I'm trying to find a business that I can rely on to present to me and that I can call to get my removals quote from. Facebook, however, if you're advertising on Facebook, what you're trying to do is you're trying to target people who are potentially moving house, potentially have interest in these sorts of things. Doesn't necessarily mean that they need removals. So that's the big difference between Google advertising and Facebook advertising. It's the intention, it's the buyer intent. So going back onto Google Ads, let's go through what the journey is. So it is a journey. So it goes from step by step by step on what Google Ads is. So firstly, we need to think about our audience. Who is it that's going to be searching? What are they thinking about? What floats their boat? What's going to make them click on your ad? We need to be thinking about that. Then the next stage is, what keywords do we want to be putting up to Google to say, right, these are the keywords that when these are typed in, I want our ad to be at the top. So you get to control this. You get to identify what keywords you want to be found for. Then the third point is the ad copy. So that's what ad wording do you want to have out there that will engage and encourage somebody to click on your ad, as opposed to somebody else's in that form of 4 ads. Then, when somebody's clicked on your ad and come to your website, that's called the landing page. So we need to look at the landing page and ensure that is that good enough to get somebody to phone you up or to fill out a form? Because we're investing quite a lot of money in Google Ads, whether it be time, money, effort, energy. We need to be making sure that each one of these steps is done well so that you come out saying Google Ads works. This is a really good way of getting new inquiries through. So those are the 4 key pillars. And then the 5th important bit is about how we measure it. So we can use measurements to find out, okay, so I've spent this much money, this is how many inquiries I've got as an outcome. So I'm going to whistle through these things, these elements, but these are key to understanding whether Google Ads is profitable for your business. So first of all, let's have a look at an audience. This is my dear mother, and so she's an example of the type of audience that may be coming to look for removals. It could be somebody that's just buying their first house and needs to have removals of their things from home to their first home. It could be different pools of people. So we need to identify and think about that audience. Think about what's their pain, what's going to encourage them to click on your ad. So put some thought into that. Second bit is around the keywords, and I've identified some top lines that are sort of themed keywords that we find work well within Google Ads for removals. So firstly, it's around the location. So we need to be identifying, I've put his examples as Liverpool. So moving company or moving service or movers, removals company, all those kind of terms, but also have the local town name in that keyword, because that is somebody locally looking for a local company. I know it sounds ridiculous. I know it's blindingly obvious, but many people, don't actually put the keyword in there of the local town, and you'll find that intention to buy is much higher. So those are the kind of location-based types of keywords. Then the other kind of keywords that you could focus on are those where you have specialisms within the removals that you do. So it could be home removals, international, it could be piano removals, it could be fine art removals, it could be location based, or sort of channels, shipping channels that you're servicing, offering those services. So London to Edinburgh, Dundee to Leeds, for example. So those are very specific, kind of niche type of keywords, and these are the ones where you're going to be getting people that are obviously looking for that particular thing. And then the last one, which is really interesting, that many people forget, is to actually protect your brand name. So you can bid on your own business's name, and what that allows you to do is make sure that you are at the top of Google, because I've just put some examples here, because your competitor could do that, and they could be at the top of Google when somebody's searching for your brand name. So you want to protect that top bit. Now, the cost per click on these particular, your own brand name, is very minimal, because the cost per click, it's very relevant to your business name. So the cost per click is very low. I can explain that in a lot more detail. However, these are the 3 key areas of keywords that work pretty well. Second bit is about ad copy. So there's 3 key things to be thinking about with regards to ad copy. And this first one is what Google is all about relevancy. Google wants to provide its customers what they're looking for. Sounds daft, sounds really blatantly obvious, but people get this wrong. So as a little example here, so removals companies Hemel Hempstead. This is splitting hairs, but just to give you an example here. So this one has got Tring. Now, Tring is fairly close to Hemel, but I'm looking for Hemel Hempstead. So we need to make sure that when you're putting terms and locations in the ad, that it's really relevant to what somebody's typed in. So going back to piano removal, we want to have piano in here, making it very relevant for that searcher. We've all done it. We've gone, well, as an example, gone, blue high-heeled shoes, and then I see an ad for red high-heeled shoes. That is really frustrating. So ensure that the ad copy that you have is very relevant to what somebody's typed in. We then need to really differentiate. Why should somebody click on your ad as opposed to any of these other ones? Think about what makes you better, cheaper, faster, award-winning. Is it the location? Is it the amount of years you've been looking after people? Differentiate. It's your job to try and own that person, own that click, and then make it relevant to the location, especially in a service where we're offering a local service. So just to bring this to life, I've got a quick example. We worked with the Container team where we changed the ads, and it made a stark difference on the outcomes. So the click-through rate went up 200%. The conversions, so this is the number of inquiries as a result, went up massively. The conversion rate went up massively, and the cost per conversion, so cost per lead, came down. A real stark difference. So making that change in your ad copy can hugely affect, without any the cost differentiator, it creates much more better outcomes for your business. So talked about keywords, we talked about ad copy. The next bit is about the page on your website. This is the landing page. So again, thinking about your customer, your ideal customer, what is it that they want? What's going to inspire them when they come onto your website to give you a call? That's what we're trying to achieve. We're trying to achieve that that person to phone you up. So a few things here. Think about the score. So the score on your website or your landing page fits within these kind of 5 key elements. Firstly, speed. We have short attention spans, and people come to a website. If it takes a little bit of time to load, firstly, you're going to be annoying Google, and your cost per click is going to go through the roof. And secondly, people are just going to click back. So ensure that your website overall has a good speed, and also the landing page that you're taking people to. Also have a clear call to action. So a call to action is your telephone number, or click here for an instant quote. So make sure that that's clear, it's visible in the top part of the page. You've got a clear offer if you have one. That would be great, because people, you know, want to feel that they're getting a great deal. So so think about what your offer could be to really entice them to come through and get in contact. Relevance. So this goes back to the keyword. So if we've talked about piano removals, ideally, in an ideal scenario, you'd have a page that's focusing around piano removals. If it's to do with London to Edinburgh, for example, make sure that the page is all geared and relevant for that person on their journey. And lastly, endorsements. Get some clients to have a few little quotes on the website so that they can get some social proof that, oh yeah, okay, they said that they're trustworthy, they turned up on time, and and it was a really pleasant experience. Just a couple of those are really, really helpful to get people across the line. So those are 5 key things to consider. And to, again, bring this to life with a case study. So this is a client that we work with in self-storage. So their original landing page, it didn't give them information about the location. We changed a lot of this to put in the location to make it very relevant for the searcher, an image that quite quickly identifies what they do, and a clear call to action, which is request a quote or to fill out a form. Now, there's always testing that can be done. It's never just, leave it. But, by making these changes, again, we were able to get great outcomes for the clients. So the cost per click came down because it was more relevant. The ad spend came down as a result as well, but the number of inquiries went up, the conversion rate went up, so a bigger proportion of those that clicked onto the page took that action. So again, it's all these levers that we can pull on your Google Ads to increase your inquiry rate, with not also spending more necessarily. So a few things that you could do, even if you're doing Google Ads or not doing Google Ads, go to this website here, which is pagespeed.web.dev. In fact, I'll put that into the chat. Megan, would you put that in the chat, please? And go to that website, put your website in it or your landing page, and just go through and do a speed test. And that will tell you if it's red, orange or green as to how your website speed sits in the eyes of Google. And we need to keep them happy. It's like doing your driving test. You've got to play the game a bit with Google, make sure that you're keeping them happy. So 3 key things here to be able to improve the speed is around compressing the images. So you could have some images on the website that are really big, really heavy, labor intensive to pop up the website. You could be having over time unnecessarily scripts, things that are kind of flashing around in the background and getting the website to work harder and slowing it down for that prospect. Also, the other thing is quality hosting, making sure that your host is fast. So those 3 things that you can look at today. Measuring success. So this is really key, because we need to know, well, of the spend that we have on Google Ads, what's it actually generating? So the 3 areas that we always measure for our clients is the phone calls, because we want to have inbound phone calls. So when somebody's clicked on the ad, come to the landing page and phoned you up, we have a little bit of code that sits on the website that captures that phone call, puts it into a dashboard so the client can listen to the phone call. But more importantly, what it does is it allows us to know what somebody typed into Google that made the phone ring. So that's really key. The other thing that you want to be able to focusing on measuring is the number of people that fill out the form. For a quote, if you have that, or potentially a contact us page, but really somebody that's looking for a quote. So that would need to be measured too. And what that does is you put a little bit of code on the thank you page that somebody hits once they've filled out that quote request form, and that is triggered and it sends it back to your Google Ads account, and it will tell us, okay, of these keywords, these are the ones that made the phone ring. These are the ones that made somebody fill out the form. Brilliant. Let's spend more money on that and start to take away the bits that aren't working. So measuring what's working and what's not working it's like, if you haven't got this set up, I would literally just stop your Google Ads, because you can't measure it, you can't improve it. The last thing that you might want to measure is live chat, if you have live chat or WhatsApp on your website too. That's another way. So it's the step that somebody takes to engage with you. Now, the problem with Google Ads is it is a complex beast. There's lots of things going on. I've literally just kind of scratched the surface on the key pillars to consider for if you're doing Google Ads, but there's the tracking, there's the Google Analytics, which is now called GA4, bidding strategies, all these different types of things. So so over the 12 months, I'll be looking at some of these more complex areas and identifying, you know, some support around that. It's not straightforward. It's changing all the time. You know, I run an agency that's been going now for 10 years doing exactly this. So that's where it can be quite tricky. So today, hopefully, you've been able to take away, you know, what is Google Ads? What does it actually mean? You know, how can it help my business? We've talked about the target audience, about thinking who is going to be looking at your ads, what's going through their mind at that moment, what do I need to be saying in my ads, the good keywords to be using. Also looked at what you actually need to be putting in your ad copy. And this guy here is what I think Google Ads is really about. It's about standing out. So your ad copy needs to stand out from potentially quite a vanilla, you know, list of other very similar businesses. So it's up to us to try and eke out as best we can what makes you different. And that could also be on the landing page. So on the landing page, it needs to be really relevant and compelling to encourage somebody to click on that, to phone you up to fill out a form. But yeah, it's about standing out. So hopefully you've taken away something that you can apply to your business, whether it's thinking about the strategies, about how we stand out, whether it's the speed of your website. A lot of these kind of beginner aspects to Google Ads also applies to many other parts of your marketing. So lastly, you may feel a bit like, oh my gosh, because it's you know, a sort of whistle-stop tour in 30 minutes of Google Ads and the key pillars. But throughout these 12 weeks, we will be, you know, we're here in the background. So there's, you know, by all means, pop me an email if you would like to have a 30-minute strategy session where I can identify a little bit more about some of these aspects for you. So just pop me an email should you wish. So we're just coming up to 30 minutes now. And so I'll open up questions. If you have them, pop them in the chat. And I can answer some of those for you. Or if you know, the wheel of commerce is turning for you all. I know time is exceptionally precious, so if you need to jump off, jump off. But I'll stay on here for another 2 or 3 minutes to answer questions should you have them. So I've got one here from Ed Kessel. So what would you say is a fair proportion of total spend taken by an ad campaign company? Do you it might be worth unmuting yourself, Ed, to ask that. I'm not, do you mean the fee of an ad agency?
Yeah, so if we're running an ad campaign at the moment with companies similar to yourself,
yeah,
and we're, you know, committing £1,000 a month to our ad campaign, how much of that is fair to be taken by them as their fee?
I hate to be slopey shoulders, but it's all about value for you. It could be that you can have somebody that's charging you, say, £200. What you would get for £200, I'm not so sure. It's about value for money, and if you're getting the return from that. So you'll get some agencies that will be literally just they may do the very bare basics. You may get agencies that are going into a lot of depth and detail to be able to get you better outcomes. So it could be anything on £1,000 ad spend. It could be anything from like £150, £200 up to, could be, I don't know, sort of £800, something like that. It depends what you're getting. Does it feel like it's value for money at the moment, Ed?
well, you touched on measuring success. It's very difficult to quantify success on the ad campaign. You know, we get told the number of clicks, we get the phone calls, but they don't all necessarily lead to business. That's why it's hard to quantify how successful it is. But we're good removal people. We're not very good at monitoring how successful our ad campaigns are, I think. So
yeah, I think that's absolutely key, and it is, by the way, you can identify the outcome. So from the ad spend, you should be able to say, right, I'm spending £1,000. I've had 25 phone calls and I've had 20 people fill out a form. What you can do, and I don't want to get too technical, but what you can do is you can get some information that comes through from Google onto that form that then goes into whatever system you have to look at your, you know, the people that filled out the form. So then you can look at those forms and go, okay, so that one came from Google Ads, yet that one created a sale. And you can, okay, it's a little bit labor intensive, but you can put in that figure of, you know, if they became a customer or not and how much they spent. Also, with what we do for clients is we have the phone calls that are all tracked so that you can then identify, well, what created a sale out of that, and you can put the figure to it. It requires a little bit of time, admittedly, but you can, it is possible. Absolutely, it's possible. At the very least, you can see how many inquiries you've got, and then you can do a little bit more time and effort to find out the sales outcome too. Does that help, Ed?
it does. Thank you. Yep.
That's good. There's no other questions popping up at the moment, but by all means, touch base should you wish. I'll just put my put that email address back up there for you. And yeah, thank you for your time. It's been great to share some of that information, and I look forward to seeing you hopefully at the next one, which is coming up in December. It's the first Thursday in December, and you'll get some information on that through from the emails from Bar. Speak to you.
Okay, Laura, thank you very much indeed. I just want to remind everybody that we will be sending them an email regarding collecting some feedback. Is that right, Laura?
Yes, that would be great. Yeah.
Yeah, we can try and do that. So if you do receive an email from us, please provide the feedback. We want to make these sessions relevant to our members, and hopefully you will have got a lot from today. So thank you all very much.
Thanks a lot.